Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I want to take a little bit of time to talk about why I like comics as a form of investment. And it's important to make note of the words that I just used there, why I like comics as a form of investment. I am not telling you what you should do or how you should think, nor am I giving you financial advice. I'm sharing a couple of thoughts with you, and potentially you will agree with my points. Maybe you'll add a couple down in the comment section. Maybe you will disagree with me, and that's actually okay as well. We all learn from differences of opinion, so if you have a difference of opinion, that's okay. Go ahead and share that as well. But I know what's coming, right? I know some folks are going to say down in the comment section that comics are not an investment. The return on investment on comics is not great. Like, I've heard every argument there is to hear, and I'm still not persuaded, to be honest with you. And there are reasons for that, right? Because again, I have my own point of view, and I don't have to agree with other people's points of view. But with that said, one of the reasons why I like comics as a form of investment is because it's tangible. They are tangible. I have them here in my room, and I rather enjoy that. Unlike a stock or even cryptocurrency for that matter, comics are tangible, and you can possess them, and you can have them and hold them and appreciate them for what they are as a form of investment. But they are also more than that, if you will, right? And I've spoken about this in previous videos. Comics are a form of entertainment as well. You can read them and you can enjoy them. You can put them on a wall and you can admire them for their artistic value, for the covers. That's an intangible thing that you can't really get with a stock or cryptocurrency for that matter. I also want to say here that I'm going to be making some comparisons to other types of investments. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that comics are better than other types of investments. I'm simply pointing out the differences, or some of the differences, that I see between comics and other types of investments, right? At the end of the day, you have to make your own decision and all that kind of stuff. But again, just sharing a couple of thoughts and some examples, right? So they're tangible. I think that is a good thing. They have some value beyond just potentially being a store of value or something that you can invest in. Another reason why I like comics as a form of investment is because they can actually hold their value. Not every comic is an investment in the sense that it's going to give you a return on that investment, but the right comic or the right types of comics will hold their value over time. And you can actually see that they have value that has been there over a period of time. And there's all kinds of pricing guides that can give you that type of information, but they hold value. And I think another point is that comics, and because they hold value, can be exchanged for other things, right? If you have to pay a bill, if you need a large sum of money, if you want to buy other comics, you can exchange comics, exchange them for other stores of value like cash, and then you can use that cash for other things. You can also just trade comics as well. So again, comics have some value there, right? And they have some benefits and that I really do find interesting. And in fact, there's actually a couple of people right now that are actually selling comics in order to pay for medical bills. I know of one guy trying to buy a car. I know of one guy that's going through a divorce, right? So they, because they hold their value and because they are a store of value, you can exchange that value for other things to pay off bills that you actually have. And to me, that is a good thing, right? You can read them, you can appreciate them, but you can also sell them and do other things with that cash. To me, that's a very good thing. Another important aspect of comics to me from an investment standpoint is that they aren't making more of them. Like land, they're not making more land, except in certain parts of the world, but that's a story for another day. They aren't making more of good comics, if you know what I mean, right? So a blue chip comic, an in-demand comic, a rare comic, a scarce comic, a hard to find comic, whatever it is, they aren't making more of them. And even if they do a foil or a facsimile or an NFT of that book, they're not making more of that specific book. And so as long as people find value in that history, in the fact that something is rare or scarce or in demand, as long as there's value in that, those things will hold their value. And I will tell you, I'm not one of those people that believes that a facsimile or a foil decreases the value of the real thing. It's something that I've heard repeatedly over the years, and I've never found any validity to that argument, but I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Kind of going back to my original point, because comics are tangible things, they can be possessed. And because they can be possessed, you have an ability to read them and to appreciate them for art. You have an ability to organize them and sort them and all that kind of stuff. Those are some intangible things that, in my opinion, also have a little bit of value, right? Maybe that's just me, but I think that forms of an entertainment that you can revisit, art that you can revisit, is a valuable thing. So one of the things that I will say to you is that, again, this is not about saying that comics are better or worse than other types of investments, right? I have lots of different types of investments. I invest in real estate. I invest in golds and silver. I have a financial planner, and so I invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cryptocurrency. I do all of it. But in my opinion, comics are very different from some of those things for some of the reasons that I cited. And one of the biggest is the fact that they're tangible, the fact that I can have them here in my room and walk over to a bin across the room and take a book out and get to revisit it. And there is nothing like buying a comic that you've always wanted and taking possession of that book. I've bought a lot of stocks, bonds, mutual funds. I bought cryptocurrency. It is not the same. It is not the same in any way, shape, or form. So do I think that comics are a form of investment? Alternative? Yes, I do. Do I think that they're better than other types of investments? Neither here nor there, right? Like, I don't think that I'm ever going to retire off of comics, right? That's why I have the other things. But when I do retire, I will be spending a lot of time with my comics. With that said, we're going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to give the video a thumbs up. And as always, if you want to reach out to me, you can do it on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care. So let's define an alternative investment. According to Investopia, an alternative investment is a financial asset that doesn't fall into one of the conventional investment categories. Conventional categories include stocks, bonds, and cash. Alternative investments can include private equity or venture capital, hedge funds, managed futures, art and antiques, commodities, and derivative contracts. Other common forms of alternative investments include real estate, commodities, cryptocurrency, and collectibles.
Turn me up in my headphones a little bit, like I want to feel it, I want to hear it. All right, that's it right there. I spoke. When the sun rise, till it's burned out. No place to recharge, so we gotta learn how. Conversations with OGs that got dreams that never worked out. So they become masters of dream analysis. They come in the form of barbers and schizos. Warhead with a big nose with his lip.